Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Average Joe Dividends YouTube channel. This video is going to be the 5 picks that I made in the second half of the week. I did a video on Monday which were the picks from M1 based upon the allocation in my portfolio. It's going to buy anything that's underweighted, and what it did earlier in the week is it picked 3 companies that were in my 12 more dividends pie. I'll show you that real quick, just to kind of review it really quick. So A.O. Smith, KKR, and Oracle were the 3 buys that I had earlier in the week. And you can check my last video to see what effect that had on my cash flow. It wasn't very much, because those 3 stocks are more growth plays than dividend payers, but they do pay a dividend. So let's go over to the activity log, which I'm at, and I'm going to show you the 5 stocks that I picked. But first, we'll just take a look really quick at the performance of the portfolio over the last year, 18.55%. And we'll go at the 1 month level, pretty flat, 0.53%, but the last week looks like we've had a pretty decent recovery at 2.8%. So let's dive back into the activity log, and I'll show you the 5 companies that I bought just this afternoon. So I'm going to be doing 2 videos in the first half of the week, Mondays and Tuesdays, or I should say Mondays or Tuesdays, depending on when I have time. I'll let M1 actually pick based on my allocation, and then the second half, either Thursday or Friday, I will pick 5 stocks my own. So here we are at the 5 picks, and $20 each into the 5. So first up was Cisco, Kimberly-Clark, and Starbucks. Starbucks has been hammered lately. They were over $100 not too long ago, maybe a couple months ago, and now they're in the low 70s. So I think it looks like a pretty good buy. I know there's a lot of people boycotting them, and there's issues, but I don't think Starbucks is really going anywhere. And Kroger's up next, $20. Kroger has a dividend increase coming up in June, so I decided to add a little bit more to that position. And HP has not been doing great. They've been, below the $30 mark, but they've been above it not too long ago. So I'm hoping HP will recover. So I think I'm buying at a pretty good bargain, and I think all these are good buys in my opinion. Of course, this is not investment advice. I think these are just good stocks to buy right now based upon their pricing and their long-term outlook. So if you're curious to see what's in this portfolio, I'll leave a link below to my M1 pie, but everything is arranged by the largest position, which is SCHD. I know it's a very popular ETF. That's by far the largest position in here. BST, that's more of an income play, but it also has growth potential as well. Of course, it's not going to have the same growth potential of the companies within it, where they're doing covered calls. If you just bought the companies within this CEF that are doing cover calls for you, you would make more in principle. But and I know that, and I own some of those companies like Nvidia outside of it, where I'm taking advantage of the appreciation of the stock. You can see over 543%, but this is an income play. So everything is arranged by smallest to largest. You can see, Pinnacle West is the smallest position. But like I said, I'll leave a link below so you can see what's all in the portfolio. And I jump over to a Google Docs spreadsheet. I'm just going to walk you through this really quick and also show you what the impact was of those 5 buys to add to my dividend income. So on this sheet, and I'll leave a link below to this Google Docs spreadsheet, just a simple sheet that tracks everything in my portfolio, the 53 positions. Everything is arranged by pay date. You can see the company, ticker name, share price. This is the average share price that I bought into, number of shares, market value. Here's my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss in dollars. Here's my gain or loss in percentage. And it looks like right now, except for Starbucks, I have a gain in. But look at Starbucks has done a little bit of recovery. They're down to like 72 and change just a few days ago. So I should have probably plopped in more, but I think it'll recover. And Starbucks, like I said, it was in the $100 range not too long ago. So I think this is temporary, what's happening to Starbucks. And Let's take a look at also, let's see here. Here's the dividend per share. This is quarterly. Anything in purple, this is variable. SCHD announces a different dividend every quarter, so I highlighted that in blue. I have a couple monthly paying stocks, which are O Realty and Realty Income and BST. Those are monthly payers for me. And you can see the yield percentage for if I were to buy more shares today. Cisco yield on my cost with each position. And then the pay date, of course, it's very important. I want to know when I'm getting paid and how much I got paid. And the estimated dividend, this is the high watermark. You can see with Verizon, I got paid $51.61, but I've estimated dividend of $52.48. And the reason for that is I took that $51.61 and reinvested it back into Verizon. So in August, probably 2nd, I'll be getting paid $52.48. That's if I don't buy any more fractional shares of Verizon. And the same with General Mills, PNC, and Lowe's. This morning I had a dividend show up to $6.63, and so I dripped that dividend right back into Lowe's, and it'll get an extra 3 cents in August. But it's actually going to be more because Lowe's is going to likely increase their dividend in late May. I think it's going to be like the 3rd week, about the 21st, 22nd-ish. Lowe's will announce a new dividend, and we'll see if they increase it by 5%, or it could be more, it could be less. But I put the last increase, it was 5%. Hopefully Lowe's can come through with a 5% dividend increase. You can see here's the dividends so far received in the month. So $71.59 just showed up in my account just for waking up on these days, which is pretty cool. It never gets old. And you can see here's the total dividends that I paid for each position. Verizon, you can see $309.87. Let's take a look at something like SCHD. I've received almost $4,500 in dividends. We can take a look at that monthly payer, BST. I've received almost $6,400 so far in dividends. You can see here's the last increase percentage. Some of them are zeros, like O, because they do like a 0.2% dividend increase, but they do it multiple times. It's, I think, every quarter. It seems like O raises their dividend by that 0.2% or so. But there's also some companies that don't raise their dividend every year, like BST, and there's some others in here too, like Nvidia. Nvidia hasn't increased their dividend for a while. I don't care though, because look at the percent gain or loss I have with Nvidia, and it pays me a tiny little 16-cent dividend, but that's okay. This is a growth play for me, so not a big deal at all. You can see also I put the increase month too, so I've got that listed. So let's scroll down here. I'll show you the color key. We are in the month of May, so we are in month 2 of Q2, and so we're in the medium greens. And this is one of the smaller paying months, along with like April was the same too. I'm going to get in the $600 range around there, and the bigger months like the March, June, September, December, those pay me a lot more. It's going to be about $1,500 I'm estimating in June 2024. So I'll go back down here. You can see here's the market value of the portfolio, my cost basis. Here's my gain or loss. Here's the average yield percentage if I buy into the portfolio. Here's my average yield on cost of the portfolio. Here's the dividends that pay me quarterly, almost $2,700. And here's my monthly cash flow average with a quarterly carry down here. Annual, I'm getting $10,797.32 in annual dividend income. I have a couple links here for dividend raises and dividend declarations. I looked those up. Also tracking SCHD's quarterly dividends here. And we can see also we are just below the high watermark last of VTI. That's the highest watermark VTI has hit. Almost there. And then SCHD in the recovery where VTI got a new high watermark, SCHD did not. 82.48 was still their high watermark, and we're still 4% off of that. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab some data from M1 before I time out there. I'm going to go to the holdings tab. I'm going to grab this data. I'm going to paste it into my M1 data sheet, if you're familiar with that. And I'll walk you through it in just a second if you're not, if you're new to the channel. But I grabbed everything from the holdings tab from M1 and back to my Google Docs spreadsheet. I go to the M1 data tab. I'm going to paste in that data. What it's going to do is it's going to update the number of shares, my cost basis, and my average cost per share as well of the 5 stocks where I purchased new shares. It's going to update that dividend income as well. So I did that paste. You can see SCHD is here, and I lined up the shares, the cost, and my average cost for each of those, average share cost. So, and it's a very long, you can see it has all my positions in here going down several hundred rows here. So, but what it's doing is it's updating this tab over here, and it updated the number of shares and average share price and my cost basis, remember, for those 5 positions. And we were at $8.99 and change. I think it was $8.99.77 for a monthly cash flow in the portfolio, but now it went up to $900.04. So you can see now the annual income is above the $10,800 mark. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this $900.04 over to the monthly average dividend tracking tab. And anytime I do like a stock buy, a dividend drip, or there's a dividend increase with a company, I put it over here and list it because I like to track the progress within this portfolio. So you can see with Lowe's, I dripped that dividend in, and it increased my monthly cash flow by a whole penny. So let's see what the $100 deposit did with those 5 buys. So I'll put in today's date. I'll carry over the $8.99.78 after Lowe's. And I believe it was, go back to that, already forgot it, $900.04. I'll put that new value in there, so we crossed back over that $900 mark. And I was above the $900 mark before, but with SCHD announcing their lower dividend in Q1, it pushed it back into the 800. So now we're back. So 26 cents in average monthly income is what I added for my cash flow. So I'm cash flowing on average over $900. We'll go back to that event that happened on March 20th, SCHD, where they lowered their dividend from 74 cents to 61 cents. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm okay with it because SCHD historically, they announced a lower dividend in Q1. I expect Q2, 3, and 4 to be higher to recover that, and especially in Q4 to go above that 74 cents. I'm expecting probably between a 65 and a 68 cent dividend in June, Q2 for SCHD. So, but we'll see. So let's go over here to my total net worth. And I track everything in this tab, and even though in my dividend portfolio you can see I have many different positions here, a lot of individual ones. Once you get past these two, the ETF and the CEF, these are all individual positions, but it's a fraction of my total net worth. And you can see what I'm invested in, a bunch of boring total stock market ETFs that are US and international, as well as a little bit of bond exposure. You can see what those are here with Vanguard as my IRA, and also a small Roth IRA. Here's my taxable brokerage account over at Vanguard. No individual positions, just boring VU and VTSAX, things like that. And also VX US with some international exposure. Here's my current employer 401k here, mostly in an S&P 500 with just a little bit of bonds in there, a little bit of cash. And then here is a pretty large IRA. It's over $600,000, $627. And this is from prior employment before this employment here, and I rolled it over to M1. You can see once again in VU, VTI, SCHD, nothing exciting, no individual stocks whatsoever in those. So these are kind of like guardrails I set up for myself, and you can see here's a dividend portfolio. Also putting some money into M1 savings. They have a 5% yield in the savings, so I'm going to start moving some money over there. How much of it, I don't know. Synchrony has a 4.75%, so you know I'm really comfortable with Synchrony, so I'm not going to move all my money over there. But this is my emergency fund, over a year's salary in here that I keep. Then Capital One, this is just for moving money around, paying bills, and just a short-term little emergency fund there. Home value, I just own a little 3-bedroom, 2-bath home, and you can see here's the mortgage left on that. And that is going to subtract out of my net worth, of course. So same with the balance of my credit card. Of course, I pay this off. I pay it off in full every single month. So, but that's just the amount there. These are my liabilities I subtract out of my net worth. You can see my net worth though really getting close to that $1.6 million. But who knows? It could plummet tomorrow because I'm so heavily invested in stocks, and I know that's part of the game. So, but that's all I had to show you guys was what I bought today. And again, I'm going to be probably doing these 2 videos. Again, the first video on Monday, Tuesday, I will let M1 do the picking, and then on the second half, the Thursday, Friday, I'll do the picking. So it'll get a good variety, and also take the emotion out of some of the investing, because who knows, I may not have picked those 3 companies that were picked before in the first part of the week. But I think something I need to do though is I need to weight this portfolio, or put some I have to do an infusion rather to kind of balance this out, so you can see my actual targets. I'm over allocated on the ETFs and I'm under allocated in these 2. What I may do is put a couple $1,000s in to kind of get it so the actuals and targets are caught up. So it's going to disperse then these $100 more evenly, rather than picking like the same companies that are laggards all the time. So thanks for sticking to the end of this video. If you got value from this video, please click the like button, and also let me know in the comments what you're buying this week, and also let me know in the comments what you think about this format of doing these 2 buys per week. So thanks again everyone for watching, and everyone have a great day, and everybody take care.